difference between wanting and doing. Eric Thomas, Willpower and Overcome series. The story of Lucas, the dreamer who became a doer. Lucas always said he wanted to be a musician. Those who knew him knew. He was talented on the guitar, wrote some lyrics on paper, but he always stayed in the one-day realm. One day I'll record my songs. One day I'll post them on YouTube. One day I'll make a living from music. But that one day never came. The years passed, and nothing changed. Lucas saw friends achieving simple things, a job, a business, even others taking risks in the artistic world. He remained in the same place, playing for himself, telling everyone how much he wanted to do it, but never showing how much he was willing to do it. Until one day, during a conversation, a close friend, tired of hearing the same promises, uttered a phrase that cut like a knife. "Man, you say you want it, but when are you going to do it?" That question hit hard. Lucas went home restless. For the first time, he realized the difference between dreaming and taking action. Talent wasn't enough, desire wasn't enough, good intentions weren't enough. He had to hit the road. And it was that day that something changed. Lucas decided that wanting wasn't enough. It was time to do it. At first, it was all very difficult. He began composing with more discipline, recording in a makeshift studio, posting videos online. The first videos, almost no one watched them. The first songs, more criticism than praise. Many said, "This will never work. You have no structure, no connections, no chances." And then came the test. Would Lucas give up and go back to being just another dreamer? Or would he keep going? He chose to keep going. With each song, each video, he understood that doing hurts, but it builds. He stayed up all night, spending everything he had and didn't have to invest in microphones, recording sessions, and promotion. While many friends were enjoying themselves, he was working. While some laughed at him, he was evolving. Lucas discovered that doing requires courage, facing failures, and swallowing criticism. But he also discovered something greater. Doing generates progress. If before he had only said he wanted to be a musician, now he could prove it. He was on the right path. It took years of persistence. And then, a moment he couldn't even imagine arrived. One of his songs exploded. Out of nowhere, a video went viral. And that boy who had only dreamed began to be recognized, invited to sing, called for interviews. Do you know what happened? The world heard Lucas's voice, but only because he stopped talking about what he wanted and started doing. He learned the lesson that separates winners from dreamers. Everyone wants it, but few are willing to pay the price of doing it. And today, when someone asks Lucas how he did it, he doesn't talk about luck, talent, or waiting for the right moment. He looks you in the eye and answers, "I simply stopped wanting and started doing." Lesson 1. Wanting is desire. Doing is action. Everyone wants something. Have you noticed this? Ask anyone on the street. Do you want to be successful? Do you want to be rich? Do you want to be happy? The answer will always be yes. But that's not the right question. The question that really matters is, are you willing to do what needs to be done? And this is where most people get stuck. Wanting is easy. It doesn't require anything from you. It's free. It's comfortable. Anyone can want. But doing, that's what separates the talkers from the doers. Lucas found this out the hard way. For years, he confused desire with action. He thought that just because he had talent and will, things would automatically fall into place. But the world doesn't reward intentions. The world rewards results. Eric Thomas always says, everyone wants to be a beast, until it's time to do what beasts do. Do you understand the weight of this? Beasts wake up early. Beasts sacrifice comfort. Beasts train when no one is watching. And that's when the wanters give up, because they discover that doing hurts. Lucas only began to see change when he picked up that guitar, recorded his songs, and posted them, even though he was afraid, even though he was insecure. That's when he realized, wanting is the fuel, but doing is the engine. Without an engine, the car won't move. Without action, the dream won't move. And maybe that's what's happening in your life right now. You say you want to start a business, but you've never written it down. You say you want to lose weight, but you still eat the same way. You say you want to change your life, but you keep repeating the same habits. Wanting gets you to the starting line, but only doing gets you to the finish line. Lucas understood this when he started composing daily. It was no longer about waiting for the perfect inspiration. It was about writing, recording, and posting, even if it was simple. He learned that action generates progress, and progress, even small, is 1,000 times more powerful than stagnant desire. Do you know what he discovered? That when you start doing, the world begins to respond. First, with silence. Then, with criticism. And only then, with recognition. And this is where your part comes in. You need to look at your life today and ask an honest question. Am I just wanting or am I already doing? There's no point in raising your hand and saying you have dreams. Everyone does. The difference is in what you do when your alarm clock goes off in the morning. It's in what you do when laziness strikes. It's in what you do when no one believes in you. Eric Thomas shouts this from the world stages. Stop talking. Stop wishing. Do. And if you take this lesson to heart, you'll realize that your dreams aren't that far away. The problem was never a lack of desire. The problem was always a lack of action. Because in the end, life doesn't ask what you wanted. Life asks what you did. Lesson 2. Doing requires courage to face failure. Those who only want to live, live protected. Protected from what? Protected from failure, from criticism, from the gaze of others. Because as long as you just say, one day I will, no one judges you. No one criticizes you. No one points out your mistakes. But the day you start doing, my friend, you expose yourself. You open the door to failure. And that's exactly what Lucas discovered. The first time he posted a video playing his song, do you know what happened? Almost no one saw it. The second time, the first criticisms came. Your voice is weak. The recording is bad. This won't amount to anything. It hurts. It's like taking punch after punch. And here was the test. Would Lucas stop because he failed? Or would he continue because he believed? He decided to continue. Do you know why? Because he understood a brutal truth that Eric Thomas always repeats. You can't be afraid to fail. Failure is part of the process. Everyone who has accomplished something great has failed first. Thomas Edison failed more than 1,000 times before creating the light bulb. Michael Jordan missed hundreds of decisive shots before being called the greatest. And do you really think you'll get there without falling, without making mistakes, without bleeding? Doing things requires courage. Not the courage to win. The courage to endure failure and keep going. Lucas could have kept his songs in a drawer forever. That way, no one would laugh. No one would criticize. But then he would die with them inside him. And dying with the dream inside you is the worst kind of failure. When he decided to put his songs out into the world, he understood that every mistake was part of the ladder. Every criticism was a push to improve. And the more he did, the more he learned. In the beginning, the mistakes were big. Tuning, shyness, amateurish production. Then he began to adjust, invest, study. And little by little, what was once a failure became progress. Do you know the difference between those who succeed and those who give up? Those who succeed fail, but they keep going. Those who give up fail and stop. You need to decide, will failure be your tombstone or your lesson? Many people never move forward because they are afraid of being judged. But let me tell you something harsh. The world is already judging you anyway. If you try, they'll talk. If you don't try, they'll talk too. So, since they're going to talk, let them talk about someone who is doing it. Lucas learned that failure isn't an enemy, it's a teacher. Every time he fell, he got up stronger. Every criticism turned into energy. Every it won't work turned into fuel. And today, looking back, he realizes that without those failures, he never would have gotten where he is. Success only came about because he had the courage to fail first. And here's the application for you. Don't wait until you're ready to start. Don't wait for everything to be perfect before taking action. Start where you are, with what you have. Because perfection doesn't come before doing. Perfection is born from the process. So, if you're afraid of making mistakes, understand, making mistakes isn't the problem. The problem is not trying. Failure isn't the end. Failure is the path. Lesson 3. Wanting doesn't transform, but doing creates habits. Everyone has said at some point, I want to change my life. I want to have more discipline. I want to grow. But do you know what the problem is? Wanting doesn't transform anyone. Lucas learned this the hard way. For years, he wanted to be a musician. He told his friends, wrote in notebooks, dreamed while lying in bed. But nothing changed. Life remained the same. It was only when he started doing it every day that real change happened. It wasn't about inspiration. It wasn't about waiting for the perfect opportunity. It was about creating daily habits that pushed him toward his dream. He decided he would compose every day, even if it was just one line. He decided he would practice his voice even when he was tired. He decided he would post videos even if no one watched. And at first, it seemed small, insignificant. But, like a drop that falls in the same place every day, doing began to shape who he was. Because wanting gives you excitement, but doing creates consistency. Eric Thomas always repeats, discipline beats talent. And that's true. Lucas wasn't the most talented among his musician friends, but he was the most disciplined. While some waited for inspiration, he was practicing. While others just talked, he was acting. And guess what? Habit transformed his life. You may have less skill, fewer resources, less support. But if you do it every day, you create a force that no one can stop, the force of constancy. Do you know why? Because habit is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. And, likewise, the more you stop using it, the weaker it becomes. Lucas turned his dream into a routine. And routine is the secret of achievers. He understood that great people aren't great because they want to be. They are great because they do what needs to be done, even when they don't feel like it. And that's what separates those who go far from those who fall by the wayside. Wanting is emotion. Doing is discipline. And discipline isn't glamour. It doesn't have applause. It doesn't have a stage. Discipline is getting up early, training tired, writing when no one is asking, recording when no one is watching. But it's precisely this discipline, repeated every day, that creates the habits that change destiny. Direct application for you. Take one of your greatest wants and turn it into a daily action. Want to write a book? Write a page a day. Want to change your body? Work out 30 minutes a day. Want to grow financially? Save and invest a little each day. Don't wait for motivation. Create a habit. Because in the end, life doesn't reward what you wanted. Life rewards what you did repeatedly. Lucas only left the world of dreamers for the world of doers when he understood that wanting doesn't change anything. But doing, done every day, creates the transformation everyone seeks. And therein lies the hard truth. Wanting gives you desires. Doing gives you results. Lesson 4. Doers outperform wishes. Look around you. How many people do you know who have incredible dreams? People who say, one day I'll open my own business. One day I'll be recognized. One day I'll change my life. But that one day never comes. They stay in the same place, year after year. And you know what's most impressive? Often, these people have more talent than you, more resources than you, even more connections than you. But do you know why you can surpass them? Because you do things while they only wish. Lucas is living proof of this. He wasn't the best musician in his city. He didn't have the best equipment. He didn't come from a wealthy family. He didn't have a record label. But he had something others didn't, a willingness to act. While other more talented musicians waited for the right moment, Lucas was recording in his simple studio, posting videos, and spreading the word. As long as they wanted something, he did it. And guess what? The audience didn't follow whoever had the most talent. The audience followed whoever was present, whoever was showing their work, whoever was producing results. Eric Thomas says something that cuts like a knife. The world doesn't reward intentions, it rewards results. You can have the best dreams on the planet, but if you don't put your hands to work, someone with less talent than you will surpass you. And that's what happened to Lucas. Many of his friends who were better musicians than he were left behind, because they never got past the want stage. They never recorded, never took risks, never threw themselves into it. Lucas, on the other hand, turned his dream into a daily job. And that's why he reaps the rewards today. Wanting can get you to the starting line, but only doing gets you to the finish line. And the race of life isn't won by the fastest, nor by the most talented. The race of life is won by those who never stop running. Let me be honest with you. It doesn't matter if you're the smartest. It doesn't matter if you were born into difficult circumstances. It doesn't matter if you started late. If you're the most consistent, the most disciplined, the one who does it even when you don't want to, you'll surpass those who only wish. Lucas could have given up halfway. He could have convinced himself he'd never stand a chance against more skilled musicians. But he understood one truth. Talent can put you at the top for a while, but only constant effort keeps you there. And this is where you need to reflect. Are you waiting to be the most talented before taking action? Or are you willing to do it every day with what you have until you become unbeatable? Because the difference is stark. Those who only wish live on dreams. Those who do create reality. And in the end, it's not the dreamers who win. It's the doers. So, if you're looking at your life and wondering why you haven't moved forward, the answer may be right here. You've been wanting a lot, but doing little. The good news is that you can turn this around today. Decide to be like Lucas. Decide to do something, even if it's small, even if it's imperfect. Because those who do, sooner or later, surpass those who just wish. Lesson 5. Doing creates legacy. Wanting is silent. It dies inside the heads of those who never move. How many brilliant ideas, how many talents, how many dreams have been buried along with people who wanted so much, but never did anything. But doing is different. Doing screams. Doing echoes. Doing spans generations. Lucas understood this when his music exploded. That same song he almost gave up recording because he thought it wasn't good enough reached thousands of people. And do you know what happened? Friends who previously doubted him began to be inspired. Young people who never believed in themselves looked at Lucas and said, "If he could do it, so can I." That's the power of doing. While the cherished dream dies with you, the realized dream lives beyond you. Wanting breeds frustration. Doing breeds legacy. Eric Thomas always says, if you stop talking and start doing, the world will hear your name. And that's exactly it. The world doesn't remember those who wanted to be great. The world remembers those who did something great. No one mentions the names of those who said, "One day I'll write a book." But everyone remembers those who wrote. No one applauds those who said, "One day I'll change history." But everyone recognizes those who left their mark. Lucas never imagined he could inspire anyone. He just decided to do it. But the moment he did, he stopped being just a dreamer and became a role model. And that's the difference between those who pass through life and those who transform the lives of others. Doing creates works. Works create impact. Impact creates legacy. And maybe you need to hear this today. If you keep just wanting, your life will end as another unfulfilled promise. But if you decide to do something, even if it's small, you can transform destinies. Your legacy isn't in what you wanted, but in what you built. It's not in the plans you kept, but in the seeds you planted. And seeds only bear fruit when they are planted in the soil of doing. Lucas planted his seeds through pain, discipline, and constancy. And today, he reaps fruits that nourish not only his life, but the lives of many. And you? What will people remember about you when you're no longer here? Someone who always said, "One day I will." Or someone who got their hands dirty, fought, fell, got up, and left something that lives on. The choice is yours. Wanting is the intention. Doing is the mark. And life is too short to live by intentions alone. If you don't start now, when? If you don't do it, who will do it for you? Lucas started out as a dreamer, but he ended up as a filmmaker. And filmmakers leave a legacy.